Hello, I'm Subu bringing crafting to you. Today we're going to make a cute Diorama card. We're going to need a bird. I have got a little bird on a good day, and we're going to need the branches from the Forever Fern, and I've chosen a sentiment, "It's time to celebrate," out of the Zany Zebras. So I've chosen quite a few things from different stamp sets, but I'm using what I've got, so use what you've got. So we're going to start off needing a piece of card that measures 4.5 by 5.5. We need two of the pieces, so you need the same colour. I have chosen mint macaron. And so I'm going to score that a half. Make sure that my cutting blade's out of the way. So that's scored at a half. And then it's going to be scored at 1. And then I'm going to turn it. You could carry on and do it at 4.5 and 5. But I just prefer to turn it around and score at a half. And then score again at 1. Now you're going to repeat that on both your pieces of card, and then we're going to need to cut a circle out of one of the piece of card. So make sure you evenly get it between your score lines, and I have used the stitched shape dies. So I've taken the largest circle from the stitched frame dies, it's a bit hard to say that, and I have just put it on, run it through my die cutting machine, and so it's cut me out a nice circle. Now don't throw your circle away, because you can use that on another project. And so that's ready cut out. I've also creased and burnished my foot score lines, so you need to do that in a concertina motion. So let me just put that out of the way. So the first one we're going to fold towards the circle, burnish, and the second one you're going to bend over and score it like that. So again, we're going to do the first one towards the circle and the back one away from the circle. So we've got a concertina like that at the side. We're going to do exactly the same with the other piece. So I'm going to burnish it, turn it over. So we're making that concertina fold. Going to do the same again. Fold it in and away. So that makes the concertina fold. Whoops, done that the wrong way, sorry. So it makes concertina fold. Now on the back piece, the one without the hole is your back piece. We're going to put a piece of whisper white that is measuring 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. Now we're going to glue this onto the back, and before we're going to do that, we can put a nice sprig on. So this is from the Forever Fern, and I'm going to use my stamping apparatus. So I've just got one prepared already. So I'm just going to move my magnet, and I'm going to just do it coming off the corner there, and that will give me room to stick a sentiment here. So I'm going to just use that and ink it up. I'm using the coordinating ink, mint macaron. So I'm just going to just ink that up, make sure it's nicely inked up. And the beauty of using something like this stamping platform is that if it doesn't stamp well the first time, you can repeat, but it's beautiful the first time. So I'm going to take that off, and then that can go on the back. So I'm bringing in my back piece, and it's where concertinas fold underneath, so we're putting it on that bit. So I'm just going to glue that in position. Just need a little bit of wet glue. I prefer to use wet glue, and then you've got that wiggle room to position it in the correct place. So I'm just positioning it between the score lines on either side and equal distance between the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to turn it over, do that, and that's now secure. Okay, so I'm putting that to one side, and now we're going to do the internal branch. So I'm going to reset up my piece again. So again, it measures 3 3/8 by 4 1/8, and I'm just going to put that roughly in the middle. Then I'm going to place my card over the top so that I can see. So I'm going to just clean up this before I get ink everywhere. So I'm going to clean up my sprig. Now, when I clean rubber stamps, if it's on this and I'm stamping again, I will clean it just with my chamois. But when I properly clean it, I will do it on my my scrub pad, because I've already sprayed on my stamping mist, which conditions your stamps. So that will be ready. Now, I want my branch to go so it's coming into the circle that for my bird to sit on. So I'm going to put my branch in position. When I'm happy with where it's going, then I'm just going to pick it up on my lid and then move this out of the way. Now I'm going to ink up again. Yes, it's dry. I'm going to ink up with my mint macaron, but this time I'm going to stamp it, and because I want to do a branch, I'm going to wipe off the mint macaron, but I'm going to use the Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just going to go over where I've not removed it at all from my lid, but I'm going to go over now, and where you can see the branches going up, I'm going to use the current colour of Cinnamon Cider, and I'm just going to go on the brush tip just on its side, and I'm just going to go up and mark all where the branches go off. It doesn't matter if you catch your leaves, that's absolutely fine. Just go to all the places where you can see it branching off. There we go. And then I'm just going to breathe on it and then stamp it on top. Okay, so I'm not happy, it's missed a bit there, so I'm going to go back over, re-inking all the places again. And this is the beauty of Stampin' Right markers. They are water based, so they're just the same as your ink pads, so you can use them just the same as you would an ink pad. And it's a way of stretching your budget for your Stampin' Up. That's fine, I'm happy with that. So as you can see, that's got a beautiful branch. It looks more realistic now. Now I'm going to place this, but before I do that, I want to get the front of my card that's got my circle cut out, and I've pre-cut out these leaf foliage from the Forever Fern die set. So we need 4 of those cut out with the mint macaron, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to glue just round the edge, round the middle. So you've got a line of glue going round the middle, and then I'm just going to roughly position those round the circle. Okay, and then do the same again with this one. Put a little bit of glue on there, and then just slightly overlapping that, bringing it round to where the edge of the circle is. Do the same again. The beauty again of using wet glue, if they don't all overlap, if I've got a too big a gap, I can go back in and remove them and plant them closer together. So let's have a look if this has worked. Yes, perfect. Okay, so that's just going to be, so that gives that a lovely frame going round there. Right, now I've cut out some butterflies, and these are from, I think they're called Nature's Thoughts from the Positive Thought set. The dies that go with them, you get extra dies, and the tiny butterfly is one of the extra dies. And I'm just going to put a little bit on it, and I'm going to position this to one side. And then I'm going to put this on the other side. Now you can take the pieces out of the middle and you could put something different in or nothing at all. It's entirely up to you. I've chosen to leave them in as I want quite a bit of gold to actually show. And I'm going to place that in the middle. Oops, and it's coming off with me. Right, now for my, oops, that gone on there. There you go. That's it. Make sure you've not got any glue strings. Now for my sentiment, I have used the Stitch So Sweetly, and I've used the smallest little label. And so I just, let me just put my pin in my glue so it doesn't dry out. And I just use this one from the Zany Zebra. Now, there's my bird. What have I done with that? It's disappeared. Oh, it's here. So I just inked this up, and then I just made sure that it's time, and the T and the E on Celebrate, I could see that that just fitted completely in there, and then pressed down, and that was how it framed it. It's just big enough to take it, and it's just so sweet. I couldn't resist putting that one. So I'm going to put that upon dimensionals. So I've just got some little tiny ones because I was ready for the bird. So I've got some little tiny dimensionals that I'm just going to use. Put 4 of these little tiny ones. I've lost my Stampin' Up tiny ones, so these are just some I've got left from other projects. So they're not as good as Stampin' Up, unfortunately, but they'll do the job today. Okay, so we've got 4, and then we're just going to put that just in the corner, just like that. And now I'm going to put the last butterfly, and I'm just going to stick it on a dimensional. I'm just going to put that coming off my label. Okay. Right, now before I build up the card, I just want to add on, what have I done with, oh there it is. I'm just going to add now, making sure I've got it the right way, so making sure when I put my frame over I'm going to be able to see it. So I'm just going to glue this onto the back now, and then I will check that I've got it the right way. So just do a few checks before to make sure that you've got it the right way. Yes, I have. And again, I'm just going to centre it between the score lines and the top and the bottom. And again, I'm just going to put it on the other side and just go over. Right, now I'm going to just gently put that over to see its position. And then I've stamped out the little bird, and I'm going to colour this in with with alcohol markers this time. So I've got Daffodil Delight, light and dark, but also I'm just going to use my I forgot the name of it. I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on there, and then I'm going to use my aqua pen to pick up that ink. So I didn't get that out. That one's empty as well. Oh dear, not doing very well. There we go, sorry about that. So all I'm going to do is use my aqua pen, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the ink, and I'm just going to gently do its feathers. And going to go back into the white, so this will give me some shading, and then I'm going to do the tips on the end. There we go. I'm just only barely touching this, I'm not touching it very much at all, and then just I'm going to go back into my ink because I want my feet to be darker. Okay, so I've finished with my aqua pen, and all you do is just rub it on a piece of paper or your board, and that will get your aqua pen clean again. So I'm just going to use my tip of this one, and I don't press on, I'm only very, very lightly touching the card. I've stamped this with my basic grey ink and stamped off and got the image. If I wanted a lighter colour grey rather than it being too black, so I've just done that, and I'm just going to do a little bit on the tail. I find if I just touch very lightly with the alcohol markers, I don't use the Memento ink, I just use my ordinary inks, and I don't have any problem at all. I'm just going to go over, there's like a W on the bird, so it's helping with shading, and I'm just going to go down the outside of my bird. That's it. And then I'm just going to go back over with my lighter colour, and that will just give it a little bit of shading, and we'll leave that to dry a minute. It dries very quickly. The most that will be wet is the aqua pen bit that I did with the ink. I'm just again going to put this up on a dimension. As you see, it bleeds through to the back. This is normal, that's not an issue. It's always better to be putting it on something else so you don't see the back. Okay, whoops. And then I'm just going to position my bird in my branches. There we go. And just to finish it off, I'm going to use my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to go over the bird's front, his tummy, so we'll just make him nice and sparkly, and just on that